chasing the Cowboy around. Woo!
Aaron Plessinger isn't your typical motocross star. He's the guy with the cowboy hat, the mullet, and a grin like he's just there to have fun, until the gate drops and he's charging with everything he's got. But behind that laid-back, fan-favorite vibe is a story most people don't fully realize. A story of raw talent, brutal setbacks, and a fight to stay in the game when walking away might have been easier. Because motocross isn't a sport that gives second chances. It's fast, unforgiving, and every crash, every injury can be career-ending. And Plessinger, he's had more than his share of those moments. From a small-town kid ripping through Ohio's woods to standing on the edge of 450 Supercross glory, only to watch it slip away, his career has been anything but easy. But that's also why fans connect with him. He's real. He's flawed. He's taken the hits, gotten back up, and kept going, still chasing that next breakthrough. And if you think his story is just about a cowboy hat and a smile, think again. Because behind every laugh is a guy who's been through hell to be here. Before Aaron Plessinger ever lined up behind a Supercross gate, he was just a kid tearing through the woods of rural Ohio, chasing his dad, Scott Plessinger, who wasn't just a weekend warrior but a multi-time GNCC champion. For Aaron, dirt bikes weren't some weekend hobby. They were the family business. From the time he could walk, he was around bikes. And by age 3, he was riding his own. Racing was in his blood. But growing up in the off-road world, he learned fast that speed wasn't enough. You had to be tough. You had to know how to suffer through long races, bad conditions, and crashes that leave you bruised and broken. But for all the focus on racing, Aaron's childhood wasn't just about chasing trophies. He was a small-town kid, riding through cornfields, goofing off with friends, and growing up in a world where dirt bikes were just part of life. And that's still part of who he is today. The guy who never lost that laid-back, country kid vibe, even when the stakes got serious. The big turning point came in 2013. Aaron had been bouncing between off-road and motocross, following in his dad's footsteps. But it was clear he had something special when it came to moto. His dad made a call that would change everything, telling Aaron to give motocross 1 full year, all in, to see what he could do. If it didn't work out, he could always go back to GNCC. It worked out.
I didn't follow too much of motocross growing up. I was more intrigued by the off-road side of things, so I didn't really follow it too much until 2013 or so. So I was a little bit older, but yeah, that's really how I got started, as my dad.
That decision launched Aaron on a path that would take him from local Ohio tracks to Loretta Lynn's, to Monster Energy Cup, and eventually to the pro ranks. But even as his career took off, that grounding, his roots in family, off-road grit, and small-town life never left him. It's part of what makes him one of the most authentic, relatable riders in motocross today. Once Aaron Plessinger locked in on motocross, his rise through the amateur ranks was fast and loud. He wasn't just showing up, he was winning, and not in a quiet, under-the-radar kind of way. By the time he hit Loretta Lynn's, he was stacking championships like a seasoned pro, walking away with 6 amateur titles and making it clear he was the real deal. And what made Aaron stand out wasn't just the results, it was how he got them. Where a lot of riders look tight and calculated, Aaron rode like a guy having fun, but with the skill to back it up. Underneath that relaxed style, there was a racer who knew how to dig deep when it counted. His GNCC roots gave him something most pure moto kids didn't have: real endurance, real grit. While others faded late in motos, Plessinger kept charging, unfazed by gnarly track conditions that left others struggling. The Monster Energy Cup was another breakout moment, proving he could hang with the fastest amateurs under the biggest spotlight. By the time he signed with Star Racing Yamaha, Aaron wasn't just another prospect. He was the guy everyone had their eye on. By the time he left the amateur scene, it was clear. Aaron Plessinger wasn't just coming into the pro ranks to survive. He was coming to make noise. Right out of the gate, Aaron showed flashes of brilliance, battling inside the top 10, holding his own against more experienced riders, and learning fast. His style was still that same loose, playful approach, but now it was paired with serious speed. And it wasn't long before the results started stacking up. Aaron's rookie season earned him 250 Supercross and Motocross Rookie of the Year, which told everyone what they already suspected. This guy wasn't just good, he was built for the big stage. But while those early seasons were promising, it was 2018 when everything clicked. That year, Aaron dominated the 250 West Supercross Championship, showing up with next-level confidence. He wasn't just scraping together podiums, he was controlling races, mixing raw speed with smart riding. Week after week, he looked like a guy who had figured out how to win and was having fun doing it. But what really cemented his reputation was the outdoor season. In 2018, Aaron went on an absolute tear to win the AMA 250 Motocross Championship, racking up multiple moto wins and keeping a level of consistency that's rare in a class filled with chaos. His victory at Hangtown that season wasn't just another win, it was a statement. The laid-back Ohio kid had arrived at the top of the sport, and it didn't look like he was slowing down. But as much as 2018 felt like the peak of a perfect story, it also set the bar sky high for what came next. Because dominating the 250s earned him a spot at the sport's top level, but stepping up to the 450s class would be a whole new fight. A fight that would test everything he thought he knew about racing and himself. Moving into the 450 class in 2019 was supposed to be the next natural step for Aaron Plessinger, but nothing about it came easy. The jump felt like entering a whole new world. Everything was faster, harder, and less forgiving. In the 250s, Plessinger could lean on his natural talent and endurance to outlast and outsmart guys. But in the 450s, everyone was fast, everyone was aggressive, and small mistakes turned into big crashes real quick. From the outside, fans and media expected him to be an instant contender. After all, this was a guy who had dominated both Supercross and Motocross in the 250 class. Teams had invested in him, fans believed in him, and everyone wanted to see that next big star rise up. But the reality was different. Learning to manage a 450, the heavier, more powerful bike, and grinding through a longer, more grueling season against the deepest field in the sport was a whole new game. The season was longer, the field was deeper, and every round demanded perfection. Aaron's free-flowing style didn't always translate, and the effort to adapt while battling expectations took a toll. Early on, there were flashes of brilliance, races where he was right in the mix, reminding everyone why he was a champion. But consistency was nowhere to be found. One weekend, he'd be running near the podium. The next, a crash or a bad start would leave him buried in the pack. And then came the injuries. Daytona 2019 was the one that changed everything. A brutal crash left him with a shattered heel, cutting his rookie season short and throwing his whole career trajectory into question. Months of rehab, missed races, and watching others take the spotlight he had worked for. It was a harsh dose of reality. Even when he returned, the momentum was gone. More crashes, more setbacks, and more questions. By 2020 and into 2021, people were asking, is Plessinger ever going to figure this out? Aaron was asking himself the same thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking at the time. I was like, dude, am I ever gonna come back from this? I knew eventually, yeah. In my mind, I was like, I'm confident I'm coming back, but in like the slightest back of my mind, I was like, this was like a really serious injury, and I haven't really had a lot of these like what am I gonna do?
By 2022, he made a major shift, leaving Star Yamaha and moving to Red Bull KTM, a decision driven by the search for a fresh start, new support, and a chance to finally break through. But as much as that change showed promise, the weight of the struggle was still there. And just when it seemed like things might turn around, Detroit happened. By 2023, Aaron Plessinger had spent years chasing that first 450 win, and in Detroit, it finally looked like it was happening. From the drop of the gate, he was out front and pulling away, riding smart, hitting his marks, and managing the race like a guy who knew this was his night. With 2 laps to go, it was all right there. Fans could feel it. The broadcast was already setting up the moment. Aaron Plessinger, after everything, about to take his first 450 victory. But Supercross has a way of ripping those moments away when you least expect it. Coming into a deep technical rut, his foot got kicked off the peg, sending him wide open into a brutal crash. 1 second, he was cruising to his first 450 Supercross win. The next, he was flying through the air, slamming into the ground with the kind of force that leaves you wondering what just happened. For a moment, he just sat there, helmet still on, letting it sink in. No outburst, no frustration, just the weight of it all hitting him at once. But he still got back up. He remounted, finished in 13th, and then did something most riders wouldn't. He faced the cameras. Gutted, exhausted, still catching his breath. He stood there and answered the questions no one wants to answer.
That one hurts. That one hurts a lot. Man, I was riding so good, and oh man, I don't know. I didn't stand up in that rut the whole moto, and sat down and put my foot out. And the one time I think it's all right to stand up, it catches my foot. But you know, get back up on the saddle and get back up there at Seattle. I love Seattle, so man, don't count me out. I'm not done yet.
Detroit was brutal, but it also became something else, a moment that proved how much this meant to him and how much fight he still had left. After years of injuries, crashes, and questions about whether he belonged in the 450 class, San Diego 2024 was Aaron Plessinger's moment to finally shut it all down. From the first lap, you could tell this was a different Plessinger. He didn't just get a good start, he attacked. Charging to the front, holding nothing back, riding with the kind of confidence fans had been waiting to see. Fast, smooth, aggressive, like he knew it was his night. And the pressure was real. The fastest guys in the sport were on his heels, waiting for a mistake. But Aaron never gave them one. Every time someone closed the gap, he answered, holding the lead with smart lines and raw speed. When he crossed that finish line, arms up, crowd going wild, it wasn't just a win. It was redemption for Detroit, for all the heartbreak and near misses. And of course, cowboy hat, huge grin, soaking it all in. But behind the celebration, you could see what it meant. After everything he'd been through, this was proof he belonged, and the whole sport knew it.
I came across the finish line, man, the place erupted. And I don't know, it still gives me speechless, and it's just like such a good feeling that I don't even know if I could explain it if I wanted to. It was just so cool.
If San Diego felt like the start of a comeback story, 2024 had other plans. Just weeks after that huge win, Plessinger's season got derailed. First with a fractured elbow at Foxborough, then a shoulder injury ahead of the SMX playoffs. But even banged up, he showed up to race, grinding through pain to finish 8th overall at SMX, because that's just who he is. Coming into 2025, Plessinger seemed ready to finally hit a clean season, and early on, he's shown flashes of that top-tier form. He's been battling up front, fighting for podiums, and reminding everyone why he's still one of the most dangerous guys on the gate. But like always with Aaron, it hasn't been all smooth. Mistakes, rough starts, and crashes have kept him off the box. A reminder of how brutal and unforgiving the 450 class is. And yet, every week, he lines up and keeps swinging, chasing that next win with the same heart fans have always loved him for. As the season pushes on, the question is still out there. Can Plessinger break through again? Can he turn all that fight and talent into another win? Maybe even make a late title run? Either way, one thing's clear. No one in that stadium wants to see him win more than the fans do. By now it's clear, Aaron Plessinger's story isn't just about trophies and race wins. It's about what he's brought to motocross, in a time when the sport badly needed someone like him. In a field full of ultra-serious, hyper-focused competitors, Plessinger has always been different. The cowboy hat, the mullet, the mustache, it's not a gimmick. It's who he is, and fans connect with that because he never tries to be anything else. In a sport that sometimes feels robotic, Aaron brought personality back. But it's more than just style. What's made Plessinger resonate so deeply with fans is his authenticity in the face of constant adversity. The injuries, the crashes, the years of fighting to break through in the 450 class, he never hides from it. He owns it. He laughs when he can, admits when it hurts, and always shows up to fight again. And that's a huge part of his influence. He's reminded the sport that being human, being real, matters. You don't have to be a stone-faced assassin to be great. You can have fun, connect with fans, and still go out there and compete with the best. Inside the paddock, other riders respect him for that balance. They know what he's been through, and they see how he carries himself. Never arrogant, never bitter, always real. As for the fans, few riders in the sport get the kind of love Plessinger does. Whether he's on top of the podium or climbing out of a rut, the crowd is always behind him, because they see someone who's fighting the same way they would if they got that chance. At the end of the day, Aaron's legacy isn't just about the races he's won, it's about reminding everyone why they fell in love with motocross in the first place. The joy of riding, the thrill of competition, and the simple idea that, win or lose, you never give up. Because in a sport that can chew you up and spit you out, it takes more than talent to stay in the game. And Plessinger? He's proof that heart and grit matter just as much as speed. Whether 2025 becomes his redemption season or just another chapter in a career built on resilience, one thing's for sure. Motocross is better with Aaron Plessinger in it. The gate drops, and no matter what happened last week, you know Plessinger's coming to race, smiling, swinging, and making fans believe anything's possible. And from legends like Plessinger to brands that shaped entire cultures, we're all about the stories you don't hear anywhere else. Just like this one here. Drop a like if you enjoyed this one, and let us know in the comments, what's your favorite Aaron Plessinger moment? Is it that San Diego win, the Detroit heartbreak, or something else? Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive into the real stories behind action sports. See you in the next video, and thanks for watching.